Hello, you're listening to the Slurmcast, a podcast for no reason. Today we will be discussing Futurama Season 3, Episode 7, The Day the Earth Stood Stupid, with your host, Tommy Roulette.
How's it going?
Oh, good. Pete Woodward.
That's me.
And I'm Rick Horchie. Joining us today is our special guest, Lisa from Sleepy Robot.
Hello, hello.
Thanks
Hello.
for coming on the show.
You're very welcome.
Hi.
Thanks for having me.
I only left you outside knocking on the door for like 15 minutes tonight.
It was a little longer than that, but it's cool.
Oh,
Damn.
man.
Oh, see,
I'm sorry.
I mean, it wasn't necessarily my fault. I probably ought to install a doorbell one of these days. We've only been here for 3 years.
I was looking for a doorbell, and then you have multiple entrances to your house. So I kind of walked around the entire house and knocked on every single one of them. I'm like, let's see how long it takes for someone to call the cops.
Oh, they see weird people coming in and out of here all the time. Not necessarily that you're weird, but you know, you're kind of weird
totally
looking.
Am. Yeah.
I got to keep it on the DL just just so the
They see you
authorities
coming in and
don't
out
know.
every day.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, there's that guy.
Oh.
Oh, well, I told you that the first time you guys came over when we were recording the first episode, and I think you were like outside smoking or something before you
Yeah,
came
with
in.
John.
My neighbor texted me. He's like, "There's these guys standing outside your house."
Pete's neighbors are all squares. You live on a nice street. That's why they.
My neighbors are
How
awesome.
dare you live on a nice street?
You know what's crazy? My neighbors. Somebody brought in my garbage cans last week, and like, it's not that kind of street. I was like really surprised.
Are you sure they were your garbage cans? That they didn't swap them for?
No,
the,
they
It's
definitely.
either that or they've just been collecting the garbage cans from around the neighborhood and putting them in your yard, trying to set you up for something.
Yeah.
Just to get like sued by the city or whatever.
Yeah.
No, because they
They're
can
trying to
do
get
that.
rid of you.
Like they can put stuff that's not supposed to be in there, and
Oh,
then
you
they
mean
check
like
the
hide
number
some body
and count
parts
it
in
back.
there or something?
Yeah, and then they check it back to the number of who it belongs to, so they could swap.
That's why
all that
one
stuff
day
around.
in my neighborhood, I went around and switched everyone's garbage can, so no one knows.
The whole city shut down.
confused the MILF parade outside that was protesting outside your house.
No, but I was wondering, like, somebody did that. It could have just been like a nice neighbor. Like, my dad didn't know a lot of my neighbors, and like he lived on that street forever. And I was wondering if, like, they don't know that he's not dead, and they just know that they still think he's there sick and can't like bring in the cans.
Wait. They don't know that he's not dead. He's
Or
not
that
dead.
they don't know that he's dead, and that they're like, oh, let's get Rick's garbage cans or whatever, or that they do, and they were just like, oh, let's get that sad kid's garbage can that lives there. Or whatever.
What if they see you now and just think that your dad had Benjamin Button disease and is just getting younger?
You should.
And when they see me and my brother, they're like, oh, and he's split in two. Like, we Danny DeVito and
They just
Arnold
throw
Schwarzenegger.
Throw your sister into the mix. Just wait, what?
She doesn't look like any of us.
No,
Lisa, do you
she
think my
doesn't.
sister looks like me at all?
A little bit.
I don't. Once in a while, somebody will say a little bit. I don't think so at all. I don't think we look related.
I mean, it's not like you in a wig or anything.
Yeah.
But I
Well,
mean, there's
do you know? I know a few like brothers and sisters. Like, do you know anybody like that?
I know quite a few like
where it's
that.
like,
That's like,
and if
yeah.
you see them separately, like it's like, oh yeah, that's a handsome looking dude, or that's a good looking girl, or whatever. And then you see them together, and you can't get over like you look like you in a wig, and you look like you not in a wig, or whatever. Like
Who determines who has the wig? Probably the person with longer hair.
who? What do you
Not
mean?
necessarily. I mean, we live in a society where everybody can have like the same kind of hairstyle.
You'd be a gentleman with long hair and a
Exactly.
lady
Yeah,
with short
fair
hair.
enough. I don't know.
Maybe it's time for you and Sarah to swap it up, Tom.
I tried to grow my hair out once when I was like in like
You
fourth or
just
fifth
get a
grade,
wig.
way into grunge. I saw a picture of myself like a few years ago, and I was like, "Who's that girl?" And it was me, and it was just long hair and
girl?
my long eyelashes just make me look even more like a girl.
You beat me to it. I instantly,
Yes.
for some reason, started thinking of Mulan, and I just imagined Tom like singing to himself in a mirror with like super long hair.
That's how he gets ready every day. You,
I believe it.
Tom,
I believe it.
you guys, you and your
He has
sister
like the
should.
kimono
Ex-
and everything.
Except just on the mirrors, pasted the picture of a long flowing hair, and so when I line up right, it just looks like that because
and
don't have-
a kimono
So the
as well.
the Jumbotron this
Moo-moo.
week. That's a good segue, actually, because there's this big old fat thing that like jumped in the swimming pool and splashed all the water out of it.
yes.
but that's all there was to it. And the size of that, whatever it was, into the pool, there was almost no room anyway. Like that was either a very small pool or a very massive thing. Any insight, Tom?
Cartoons called Art for Art's Sake.
Whose art?
Exactly. I did learn, because I've been watching like the later episodes to prepare for this trivia thing coming up in Lakewood.
Oh,
Yeah.
fuck. I keep forgetting about that. Do you know about that, Lisa?
No.
They eventually stopped doing the
Jumbotron cartoons?
the cartoons on the Jumbotron.
Really?
Yeah. There's no reason to talk about it because when this airs, it's going to be...
Well, I just want to tell Lisa about it real quick. There's a trivia thing at...
Yuzu.
Yuzu.
Yeah, don't worry. This
Futurama
episode
trivia.
will air 3
okay.
weeks after it happens.
Gotcha.
Like in
So-
a week or something? I don't know. I'll tell you about it after.
Okay.
Yeah, we
Next
can
Wednesday.
tell everybody about how good or bad it went.
Yeah, we'll see.
On next week. Well, actually, no, not even next week's episode. It would be the week after that.
Yeah.
So this will be good. I overall I liked this episode a lot.
This is my... Lisa, how excited were you to get to do this episode?
I was very excited to get to do this episode because there's just some great lines in this
Yes.
episode.
all over.
Yes.
Just chock full. But it also because there was one I
Number
wanna say
9
a couple
on
weeks
the
ago.
IGN, I
Is
think,
it?
list. I believe that's
Yeah.
what it is.
Like
Yeah.
there was
I think
a
was it number 9 or number 19?
Oh, okay. Maybe it is.
I think
Maybe
Either
I was
way,
giving
those are
it.
both too low.
Yeah, I think it's number 19.
This and Roswell that Ends Well are my two favorite episodes, and I can't decide which one. After watching it this week, I'm like, this is it. No, this is the one. But when we get to Roswell that Ends Well, I'll be like, I don't know, you know?
I think there was one a couple weeks ago that like had a lot of good lines but was not cohesive. It might have been
Bending the
Endless Love. No,
Endless Love.
I think it might have been
Parasite's Lost.
either that or the Santa episode. The Santa episode was kind
That's
of
the one
a
we
bummer
hated.
altogether. Well, we didn't like it, but there was funny stuff in it. It just didn't flow. Like this one was.
This one.
This is like a really
was-
high joke density. The plot moved
yeah,
fast.
it was like an episode of 30 Rock. It was like, it was just chock full. It was, like you said, super dense with jokes, but everything was moving the plot along.
Yeah.
And it was like a little movie. This episode is as long as every other episode of Futurama, but it feels like one of the Futurama movies. There's so much going on. The pet competition, that's like this whole thing. What is that, like a couple minutes? But it feels like, you know.
Yeah.
Did you feel like the ending was a little rushed though?
No, I love the ending. I love.
No,
I liked the ending, but I
liked
just
it.
kind of felt like
After
once he
the
got to the
book stuff?
library, it kind of rushed through a little bit.
I think that's the speed they were going at. But like to me, that's just another one where I'm like, oh, that feels like it's 15 minutes, but it's like a minute and a half or 2 minutes or whatever. And I
Right.
feel like every beat in this episode is like this whole thing that feels like it's 15 minutes, not in a bad way. Like it feels bigger than it is. And it's just, you know, I mean, do you mean rushed in the way that he like when he foiled the brain was like,
I think
do
she
this or
meant.
whatever.
I think she meant rushed like the band Rush.
Yes, I mean I felt like there needed to be more rush.
More-
Always more
That's-
rush.
that's-
More
in the-
virtuosity.
They do mention Tom Sawyer in it.
Yeah.
And then in a later episode, they actually play the song Tom Sawyer by
There
Rush.
you go. It's foreshadowing
Exactly.
and subtext.
You know, like just to give you the way this episode is, when Leela is on Nibbleonia or whatever it's called.
Nibbler's Planet.
Yes, Nibbler's Planet, and they're explaining why Fry isn't affected by the brains.
yeah.
That's like halfway through the episode.
That's what I'm saying. Like her going to the planet, that's a whole thing by itself. And then coming back and dealing with, watching Fry dealing with everybody stupid. It's like and each part, none of them aren't like the best part of the show. Full of jokes, great lines. Like it's just.
This should be on the list of the best. And in fact, one of the dumbest things in it, and this is just such a throwaway thing,
Yeah.
is that planet that gets destroyed at the very beginning. It's called
Tweenus
Tweenus 12. It's just a dumb, stupid name.
Do you know what Tweenus is?
No.
No.
Lisa, do you want to go ahead?
It's making fun of tweens, which is like the in between of being teenagers and like children.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also another name for the taint.
It is? I've never heard
Yep.
that. So wait a second.
That's the number one thing that comes up on Google when you
Taint,
Google
Grundle,
Tweenus.
Gooch, and now we have a fourth one
Chode.
that I didn't know about.
Chode, there's 5.
No, I didn't know that one.
I've heard geesh
Never
I've
heard
heard
that one.
that.
Man. Wow.
We should just have a podcast of names of the taint.
Man, Americans are like Eskimos if taints were snow.
Coming back to the cartoon at the beginning, I actually sat and watched the entire cartoon. It was another one of the Little King cartoons, which I noticed they used clips from that quite a few times.
Does that
throughout the
tie back
series.
to Bold King Cole?
It might be. It's art for art's sake. I don't ever go farther into it unless it's Bosco.
Did Cassandra bully you into doing that?
No, she did not. No, she did not. I just went on my own and did that.
Okay.
Because I like a lot of those like really weird,
Oh, they're really weird.
like old school black and white cartoons. But I did notice that they do use a lot of the Little King cartoons throughout the Jumbotron, throughout the show.
Maybe Fox owns some of those, or the company that owns. You
I
know what I
don't know
mean?
It's,
Like,
oh, it's
I
public
think they're-
domain.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. I
Oh,
believe
okay.
that they're old enough that they're because like I think it's from 1934 or
Oh,
something
God.
like that. So yeah, those definitely are public domain by now.
And just to clarify that, you work with former guest Cassandra Fear.
Yes, I do.
And she just overachieved like crazy, weighing her underwear and all this other stuff, and like came in with like annotated. Like we all have notes usually, but I think she had footnotes and endnotes and highlights.
I think
and,
she watched the episode about 5
oh, I
times.
just noticed your notes are printed out. You're the first person to do that. That's wow.
See, I think they have a thing going on. They're trying to compete. We'll see.
Maybe. Who knows?
Did you weigh your
When we
underwear
die-
for
I did
this
not- I
episode?
did not weigh my underwear.
We're putting you and Cassandra in our will. When we die, you can have our podcast because you guys will probably be better at it.
Yeah, just with the chocolate connection alone, you guys would have more fans than we do.
Well, they're not going to offer free samples for.
But they could.
Maybe.
Yeah.
No,
could.
That would be a good incentive.
Like what if every time we had a guest come over, we gave them free chocolate? They'd be.
Oh, I meant for
clamoring
the
to come
listeners.
back. I don't know.
Just send all the listeners free chocolate.
All 4 of our listeners would get chocolate. That's too expensive.
It does run a little steep when you get into those
That-
fresh cocoa beans.
The Hypnotoad is really good at herding sheep.
This
Yeah,
sheep.
you're jumping way ahead, man. I got
yeah.
like 17 notes before that. I wanted to know.
Wait, hold on. Yeah, he is.
Yeah. I don't know if this gets explained later on or if it's just coincidence, but are the brains in this episode related to the balls from War is the H Word?
No, but that comes up.
They're sort of
No, I mean,
similar.
not in an episode. I mean, like, people ask that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's almost like, weren't the balls with brains in them, or were they hollow balls that just looked brainy and veiny?
Well, I would like to think that all their organs and
Pete, this is not a
Bringing it-
podcast to explain alien DNA or biology.
I'm just
to you.
asking about the universe that this show resides in. And whenever I do that, you seem to get real pissed off that I'm trying to put parameters around
You got to know
the actual
rules.
thing. Yeah.
Well, the balls
Just
come
curious.
from that planet. What was the planet called?
Tweenus 12.
No,
Not
the
Tweenus
balls.
Where the
12.
balls come from?
oh shit.
I don't remember.
Oh man, it's on the tip of my tongue. It's on the tip of my ball.
Just the one.
Taint it horrible. I can't think of it.
Oh man.
Nibbler is visibly distraught at the mention of this stuff happening. Like, I think it was even before it's mentioned, like, he senses that the brains are on the way.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So this is like a big reveal, I guess.
Oh, this whole
for the
episode, there's so
universe.
much canon stuff in it. Like, that's another reason it's. Well, I mean, it doesn't have to be good just for that, but like, it's hard to look at this and like zoom into it, like without thinking about the whole series when you've already seen it. Like, I can't imagine if I would care about finding out like about Fry's brainwaves or whatever.
Yeah,
because-
because I mean, it definitely.
At this point-
like once you've seen the series, it foreshadows a lot of
yeah,
things
it's
for
like,
future
oh, well, this is so
episodes.
cool that this leads to this and that and the other, but you know.
Is this a turning point in the show overall? I mean, they introduce all this stuff that becomes part of the whole history of it.
Mm.
And like, just from things you said in earlier episodes, like, this foreshadows a lot of the stuff that's going to be revealed later on that hasn't yet. But
Are you asking if this is one of those?
Yeah, they you
planet?
find out why Fry wasn't born with a delta wave
Yep.
later on?
later on.
In
Oh, okay.
my other favorite
Yes.
episode.
Episode, yep.
Oh, okay. Well, I can be patient. We got a lot
I
of
did
these
do
left
the
to go.
nasty and the pasty.
Past nastification.
Oh, that sounds disgusting. I wrote
Just wait.
I wrote a note that says Zuka Baruka. Is that just something that the professor utters? Was he the one that said that?
Yeah, I think so. I didn't write it down.
Just Zuka Baruka. Something. It was just a weird exclamation that was weird enough that I wrote it down, but I can't remember who said it.
It was Professor Farnsworth while they were at the pet show.
Oh, okay.
When he finds out about the $500 prize.
Oh, right.
Which, of course, $500, you say. Dog food, you say.
You know what's funny? This whole episode, they do all the like Zoidberg food stuff, and they've started to do that. And I feel like this is the turning point where that becomes one of his little like bits or whatever. Another thing that this episode is so good is now we're at the point where the show's been on long enough that some of the jokes write themselves as far as having the characters having their knowing what makes them funny. Like because early on it was like, well, what is it with Zoidberg? Like we're starting to get into how he's poor and how he loves food, and you can just go to stuff.
Was this the introduction of the Hypnotoad?
Yes, it
Yep.
was.
I couldn't remember,
very
like-
first episode.
Does the Hypnotoad then become famous because of this, or is the Hypnotoad already omnipresent and we just haven't really seen it yet?
Up to this point, I don't think they've actually explained that yet.
Yeah, he just is there, and then
eventually he gets his spin-off series, Everyone Loves Hypnotoad.
Mm-hmm. Like that, it's just disturbing, kind of. I mean, it's that industrial noise going on. But as you said, Tom,
I forgot
very
exactly
good at
what
hurting
that's
sheep.
from. It's actually from. It's a looped sound over and over again from a 1950s sci-fi movie.
Really?
That's what it sounds like. I mean, I don't know what specifically,
I can't remember what
but
movie it was from, but it was pulled from another sci-fi movie, and they just looped the sound over and over again to make that noise.
I feel like this episode was really heavy on like synthesizer effects. Like there was a lot of weird noises throughout, more so than usual. I made the note later on, and I'm trying to hope in context I remember why I made the note. But the Hypnotoad sound is definitely part of that, where it's just like this grating, mechanical, weird spaceship noise or whatever. But that whole pet show, man, that was a winning sequence, just top to bottom.
Zoidberg and Bender, Leela and Nibbler being stupid, everything. The Hypnotoad, obviously. One of my favorite parts is the faces that the sheep make. Like, I don't know. Did you guys notice that?
Yeah.
Like how cute they look when they get hypnotized. Just that like dead stare, like of them closing the gate.
Eyes,
and
they have, they
have stripper eyes as they're closing.
And I love the fact that the actual sheep closes the enclosure.
Oh, and then Nibbler goes to do it, and
you just
hear the sound of him eating them, and then he burps up all the bells, which is great.
As I enjoyed the whole Bender and Zoidberg scandal where they're like,
whole thing.
"This is my hard shell whooping terrier, Mr. Zoidberg," and then when he started doing this, he's plenty of good Zoidberg in this episode. But the thing that struck me is really interesting was he's really limber. Like when he's doing the tricks, like he's jumping up and doing like a lot of acrobatics and stuff that you'd think someone of his. Number one, he's pretty portly, and number two, he's got a hard shell. So maybe I don't know. Maybe
I think he's big shelled.
Yeah.
Well, no, because
I think you're right.
When he outgrew his shell and molted, you saw him without the shell. He was the exact same.
But I mean,
shape.
also he's an alien, so like, who knows?
We don't know what his bone structure's like.
He doesn't have bones. He's got an exoskeleton.
True.
No, but I mean, you don't know from looking at him
that he'd be such an amazing flamenco dancer. No, I did not.
And
no, just how limber he would be or whatever.
I mean, a lot of
Look at
sumo
Kif.
wrestlers
Kif looks like a
are
little
pretty limber.
wimp, but like,
Are
even
they?
though- I think so. I've watched sumo wrestlers. I'm just thinking of Yokozuna from WWF, but
Oh, okay.
he could jump off the top rope. No, he could only get to like the second rope. Okay. My
Maybe he's
entire
not
argument is
so limber.
falling apart right now.
But that whole interaction with Zoidberg and Bender gave me one of the first lines that I love, that interaction between them where he's just like, second place, that's a fancy word for losing. And Zoidberg's like, forgive me, my friend. He's like, never.
No, he's like, and it's the View looking up at Bender as he's like hitting him with
And just whipping the shit out of
horse
him.
whip thingy.
It was,
Third place was a character that's been on the show before.
was it, oh God, Dave Spiegel and Fluffers.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
They were when they took Nibbler to the vet.
To the vet, yeah.
But did they get named before? Or this is just
No, this is the first time
no.
that they had their name, but they
Just
were
in the
sitting in the waiting room.
I forgot about that. I thought that they were introduced and then you saw them again later. I didn't realize that they showed up just as background characters.
Mm-hmm.
So, there was other stuff, just like kind of the general concession stands and things going on at the pet fair, like the invisible dog that attacked Fry. Have you ever seen one of those leashes?
Cedar Point.
Yeah. I haven't seen them in forever. And when I was little, someone told me it was a cat leash.
Cats don't have leashes.
Some do, which is even weirder than
They
walking
do.
around with an empty cat.
The other
leash.
day up at the bar, somebody brought their cat up there.
Kick
That's
that person
fucked
out.
up.
That person is not
It's
allowed in
weird.
the bar.
Were they a juggalo? Because Jim would have taken care of that immediately.
It was wearing a harness.
See, I did that when I was a kid. I had like a cat before I developed an allergy. I used to drag my cat around on a harness, and it hated it.
That was,
Did
I
it
wonder
walk,
why.
Or did you literally drag it?
I literally drug
Just
it.
like down the street, or did you take it places?
I would take it to like the park and stuff like that with me, and of course I got like made fun of because I was literally dragging this little cat behind me.
Did you have like dog envy, and you were just like, well, I got this cat. I
Yeah, it
guess
really was.
Okay,
That's
that
what
makes
it
sense.
really was. I really wanted a dog when I was a kid.
When I was younger, I had the poor kids version of like the invisible dog where I just dragged the leash of my dead dog around the neighborhood.
Way to make it dark, Tom.
Just hoping somebody would show up. Like, hey, here, he's got a leash. Here's a dog for that leash, kid.
And it was your invisible ghost dog that told you to kill people that nobody else could see.
What like Wilfred?
I thought it was Goliath.
No, I don't know. Wilfred
those are
was
both-
it.
Snoopy?
Yeah.
Those are both.
Were they both things?
Yeah.
Did we both make references the other one didn't get, and then just
Wilford was one of those shows that like the first season
Oh,
was really good,
yeah, that
and then the
show.
second season
What's
was
his
kind of
face?
crap. But it just got so weird that I had to watch
Mm-hmm.
it just to find out what Wilford was, because they kind of started trying to make this whole like crazy backstory
Yeah.
mythology that I was just like, I kind of hate this show now, but I need to know what's happening.
I couldn't. I mean, it's not that I couldn't finish it. I just got sidetracked on other stuff, and I haven't made my way back
The
yet.
first season was
Same here.
really good.
Yeah.
The second half, the second half of the second season was really good, but I can't say that the ending of the show was satisfying.
Good, then I don't need to watch it.
No.
It's like
Yeah,
Dexter.
that's all I need to
Just
hear,
like
too.
I can
Same
check
here.
out and stay checked out. The other thing that was out there was the big bucket of cream that got splashed on, and then the cats went and attacked everyone.
I like that they attacked everybody, but every time they showed a close up of the people, they were just getting licked. Like they were freaking out, like they were getting attacked, but they were
Yeah,
just
but
licking
because the cats
gently.
were jumping on them
Yeah.
with their claws to hang on,
Yeah,
and then
I-
licking them. That shit hurts.
I get it.
But have you ever had a big bucket of cream? Like have you ever made whipped?
of course.
No,
Just
have you
like,
ever?
I'm a red-blooded American man, right?
Have you ever made whipped cream like from scratch?
Yeah.
It's just when it's done right, it's just like the best. It's just milk, fat, and sugar and air. It's so good. And if I had a big bucket of cream like that, I can't help myself sometimes because it's so amazingly good. And you're staring into space, really.
I'm trying to think of the name of your establishment or what you are going to sell at Pete's Big
Bucket of cream.
Like,
I hope their pies are there.
I was gonna say it's pies and
Yeah, by the way, Pete, say cream. I love cream one more time. And then no one say anything after it. And then later in the conversation, I'm going to ask you to say pies.
And then you'll edit it together.
We'll see what happens.
Then it'll go.
going back to the pet show. I love the the billboard outside where it's like kids come see Toucan Sam's death mask.
Yeah, I forgot
Yeah,
about that.
I thought there was other stuff on the signs. Was there other stuff written down? I saw the Toucan Sam death mask.
I think it just said the pet. It was about the pet show, but
Just
that was
that?
but that was like the announcement under the pet show.
The thing I was wondering about, the special award for the dumbest pet in the show that they gave to Nibbler, that seemed incredibly cruel. Funny, but like, can you even imagine somebody trying to pull some shit like that at anything now? Like, you get a special award for being the dumbest, worst person in here.
Well, they do that at dog shows where they do like the ugliest dog award.
Really?
I didn't know
pet
that.
Shows. Yeah, like that one dog with the weird tongue that hangs out of his mouth
Yeah.
won like a couple years in a row.
Huh.
I think that's just some random weird contest they do. I don't think it's an actual like dog
They-
show. I don't think they do it at Westminster or something.
I took animal care when I was in high school, and we used to have to go to like the dog show out at the IX Center every year.
Well,
And
wait,
they actually,
I mean,
they
it's at
actually
the
had
IX Center.
that as like a category, like a special award. Is they did like ugliest dog.
And
Was
they had
there, like, a
the
dog fight?
2016 concept dog of the year.
Well, you see,
Where
they
you could
have-
play video games on him.
Well, you see, they have those competitions where people like dye their dogs all crazy colors and like make them look like other animals and stuff like that.
Like that
now.
Pikachu dog.
Yeah. Or like there
That's-
was like a lady that made her dog look like a lion.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen
Those people that
pictures
make
of
their
that.
dogs black and white spotted
I
and
know.
then
they-
put them on fire trucks.
It takes a lot of Sharpie to do that. And those things don't stand still. They're really mean.
That's why none of the dots are the right size, like
I
same
know,
size.
they're just all like sloppy and weird.
But they make great coats. See my vest. See my vest.
made from real gorilla chest.
Is
See my loafers? Former gophers.
coming back to Hypnotoad, I was trying to determine.
If you were being hypnotized when you saw him,
No, maybe.
But I sure do think he's the greatest, right, guys? Greatest
Praise
Futurama character ever.
Ever?
Praise be the Hypnotoad.
is the Hypnotoad sentient.
Yeah, he's got to be.
Yeah.
Are you sure, or is
Yes.
it just something
you have
that,
to be. If you're hypnotizing someone, you have to be sentient.
No,
No, you don't.
You could
Do
be
it,
an
right?
animal.
You could be an inanimate object and hypnotize somebody.
Yeah.
It's more
Okay,
about the
you're right.
receiver
No,
than the
but
hypnotizer.
okay, later episodes, like that question can be answered in two ways. I don't know what I would think if I just saw this, but as this he pops up more and like the things that people do when they're hypnotized, the more it actually
It
in this
benefits
episode,
him?
winning kind of. Well, I mean, maybe it's just like
I mean,
he's the best
he's
because
in the show as a pet. So is he someone's pet, or did somebody
Did he
dump
enter-
him there?
Or I was gonna say, or did he enter himself?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a
Position?
good question.
He could have
Because you never,
hypnotized
you
people
never
to think
actually
that.
see his
Yeah.
owner.
Yeah.
there is a fantastic fry line kicking off this next section where it goes, people said I was dumb, but I
Yes.
proved them.
Oh God, that's my kind of fry lines. Like where did they come up with that? That's how do people think of things? I don't. I've never
I've
thought of anything.
never thought of anything ever.
I had a procedural question about ham also, because I didn't realize that ham was such a big part of Nibbler's diet. First of all, I don't think that's been said before, really, because he seems pretty omnivorous. I mean, and,
Well, he
and-
also liked the what was it?
The pig balloon,
Snouts and
Yeah.
no,
kibbles
but
and snouts.
Kibbles and
Which
snouts.
there was a sign for kibbles and snouts.
Yeah, that was one of the.
Did you
one
write
of the
those
kiosks.
down? The kiosk. There was like
There
two
was-
funny ones and one.
Oh, there was
One
Soylent
funny one.
Oh, Soylent something,
Soylent
yeah.
Chow.
chow
Okay, that's
for
it.
like dogs.
and the other
but
one was like flea collars or whatever.
Yeah, it was flea collars.
It was like how
Soylent
lazy.
Chow,
Like
and
they did two
kibbles and snouts.
funny ones, and then the third one, like for a show that has a lot of funny signs. Normally, that you like miss. Kind of disappointed that they
would Soylent
gave up.
Chow be made out of people or out of dogs?
It's a good question.
I think it would probably be made out of dogs.
yes.
Yeah,
If
I
it's
mean,
for the dogs, it'd probably be made out of dogs.
So Soylent as a brand isn't so much about recycling people specifically. It's just about surreptitious
It's one of the
cannibalism.
It could be either one.
unanswered questions
made out
of
of
this
the
series.
whatever
If
Dave
only
Spiegel's-
Charlton Heston was still alive.
It's
We
made
could
out of
ask
whatever
him.
Dave Spiegel's breed is. That's why you don't
Yeah,
see
there you
more
go.
of 'em.
It's both.
Like
Yeah.
they've gone
Perfect.
extinct because they've all been made in the Soylent Chow.
That's a terrible business model.
It is. It really is.
What does a female Dave Spiegel look like? How do they
Probably
breed
like
them?
a female Dave Spiegel.
Just without,
Like-
just
like with a
without
wig?
just without the
Did you do it with a
mustache.
wig on?
Do that thing where your brain makes pictures.
It looks like Dave Spiegel with a wig.
Just as we were talking about before. I can't believe that Nibbler had that spaceship like stowed away.
Oh, with his tiny little
with
eye
his little
port.
space suit and everything, but like he was clearly prepared.
Oh yeah.
Oh, wait. Oh, hang on just a goddamn second. Now that I think about this, they found Nibbler on that planet that was collapsing because all of the dark matter was mined out of it.
Mhm.
So they didn't find him on Earth. They brought him back to Earth.
That's
Yeah.
right.
How'd he get a spaceship there and a wardrobe?
Stop it! You're thinking too much.
No, it's a good question.
I know it definitely is.
Well, also up to this point, I'm pretty sure you thought Nibbler was just a furry little moron.
I didn't because you guys have been talking about how he isn't since episode 1 of our show. So I knew in some capacity that would come to pass.
Well, I mean, if you jump ahead to future episodes and
I feel like the Nibelunians had a emergency. They probably have several emergency ships stored away throughout New York.
yeah,
Okay. That tracks. I get it.
That's
I was
what I
just
think.
wondering because he seemed to know exactly where it was, and he was ready to split. I mean, it seemed like in an
Wait,
act of cowardice.
That was your question. Why does he have a ship?
yeah.
You're confused why these like
Maybe what? Not why.
centuries
How?
old
How?
guardians of the universe would have a ship stowed away?
How?
they could have his people could have sent it to him. Like,
Yeah, why?
once he,
Why?
like,
And in fact,
made
it would make less sense if
contact.
they didn't. He's there. He's an agent observing Earth. Well,
But why would they? But he
he has a ship
Yes, it's an emergency ship, so he can get away.
when the brains come because that's what they've been waiting for.
His whole plan was
Right.
to get caught on that island or that planet.
See, I feel like this is all a bunch of weird retcon. That's really where I'm starting to have problems with it. But fine, I still like the episode. We
Their
continue.
race has been living since the beginning of
Before.
the universe.
Since
Before
17 years before the dawn of
Yes.
time. I was paying attention to that part.
17 years.
I was trying to reconcile Leela's statement of have my
I
years
can't
of wild have my years of
reconcile
wild
any of Lisa's statements.
have my years of wild hedonism finally caught up with me. Where isn't her whole thing that she is not wild and is not a hedonist?
Somebody give Pete a penny for figuring that out.
Well, she said it so earnestly.
I feel like Leela thinks some of the things she's done is probably like
Yeah.
way worse than
Than it really
When-
is.
Yeah,
what
you
it
can
actually
kinda tell
is,
that from,
yeah.
like some of like statements in past episodes,
Like ordering underwear by the pound.
maybe.
maybe the lifetime supply of underwear. Going back to the,
I mean,
the
Sean
ham.
might have had she might have had a whole thing with Sean at some point where it was like
yeah
going
I
on
mean,
craziness.
This is true. With
Because
his
he would play
holophoner?
his holophoner naked.
Oh dear.
Oh, we don't know that yet.
Oh,
crap.
thank God. You keep ruining the show for me. Years in advance, you keep ruining it for me. It's not fair. I'm going to tell you about something else that you haven't watched yet. Just spoil it. How's that feel, Tom?
He's gonna ruin Gilmore Girls for you.
I already know what happens in Gilmore Girls.
Even the new ones.
Even the new ones.
I heard that they kind of did a good job of ruining themselves. Is that accurate?
I don't know. I've never actually watched Gilmore Girls.
I don't either.
Lisa, what were you gonna say about the hams?
Oh yeah, when Leela's looking for Nibbler and she's carrying the ham and she says that she has a raw dripping ham
Uh-huh.
for him. Me being a vegetarian, I am an expert on ham. I would just like to say that ham was neither raw or dripping.
Well,
like
that's
you can
what-
clearly see that it had been cooked.
That's what I was wondering about.
I thought ham has to be cooked.
That's-
It's like
yeah,
it's
that's part
not
of it.
ham if it's not cooked. You can have
Oh.
I mean, I suppose you could have a raw ham and that it's the cut of meat, but what makes the ham is that it's been cured in through some manner, whether it's like salted and roasted, assaulted
Glazed.
and roasted. He assaulted a ham. But yeah, I can. Maybe our listeners have some insight into what makes a ham. I could look it up now, but I'm not feeling that ambitious. It's been a long day, and I prefer to keep my ham interaction pleasurable and not workable. That didn't make sense, but it makes sense to me.
everyone's getting dumber.
I know. immediately almost.
Well, everyone's getting dumb. Or actually stupider.
or stupider.
Zoidberg want balloon now.
Okay,
Zoidberg want to go outside.
why?
I just let you back in.
Oh, that's one of my
Why
favorite
are-
fry lines.
Why are when people are stupid, say that like Zoidberg and the Professor and all of that.
It's just like baby talk.
Baby
It
talk,
is.
but
Yeah.
But I liked it. That was some of my favorite lines. Just listening to the professor, who's normally a genius. Just,
I'm a genius. As
No,
he
that
said
was
between
was
the
great.
pressure motion.
Later, when Leela tries to reach into the fire, and the professor's
Fire
like,
hot.
Oh, help.
like, oh, Professor, help!
Help.
Fire indeed hot. It just
But it's like, what does that say? That we're just like, when you get dumber, that you just regress to childhood? Because even with Hermes, like playing hide and seek with the plank of
oh yeah,
wood.
yeah.
or Hermes drowning himself in the shower. Like that, just standing there with his mouth open, and the water pouring into it.
I forgot how to say that letter that looks like the man with a hat.
T?
One of my
pronounced
favorite
tuh.
all-time moments on Futurama.
Hello, little man.
And I actually,
I will destroy you.
everybody likes that part the most. I like when what's the newscaster?
Morbo and Linda.
Linda, when she's like, the governor lady says, "I'm sending in more trains,"
It's like,
and then all the people are getting on the train.
Wait
that's
for
great.
me.
in today's news, a train got crashed in New Jersey.
Oh, that line, or want to see and.
Well, just this whole stretch was Zoidberg want to buy on margin. The stock stuff, like, do they ever refer to him, or does he ever refer to himself as Zoidberg at any other time in the series? Because that might be my favorite.
Don't think so.
Oh,
But the one observation that I made was that everybody else, like I said, kind of regresses to this like childlike state. But Bender, as he gets dumber, becomes or thinks he at one time was human.
I was
I
trying
can't
to
feel my heartbeat.
Maybe because he
Yeah.
hung out with so many humans, like he's just forgot. Like that's
Right,
the
but
way I saw
he's
it.
the only one that doesn't display any type of like childlike behavior.
Oh yeah,
though.
yeah.
He just
Yeah.
has farther.
Maybe
to
because he was
regress.
never a child. Like he was just programmed, and then he was like came online.
At one point, they do show him kind of as like a baby
I
robot.
don't. When we get to that,
we'll get to
episode,
that
I'll just
episode,
say-
yes.
No. I'm just gonna say
Wait,
like,
hold on.
I-
This sounds like some bullshit.
No. Wait till we get this episode. This is not a good
But
time
you,
to
okay,
discuss.
but
All
at
right,
least you know what I was
okay,
gonna
okay.
get at, right?
Seriously,
Yeah.
but
Okay, yeah.
yes. No. At the one part where I forget who says it, but he's like, "Let's go join a reform party."
Yeah.
On like Comedy Central at one point when they like re-aired it,
During
and then like
syndication, yeah.
one of the DVD releases they change it to Tea Party.
Really?
Really?
Yes.
They
Good
thought
for
it would
them.
They thought it would be more relevant.
That makes sense. And also, they're both funny.
Yeah,
And
either
true.
way. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just 17 years ago. They
But
were still on top of things. It's like they had a time machine or something. Could see into the future.
But before Bender suggests that, I just love Fry's line there where he kind of starts figuring out what's going on. He's like, I know what's going on here. You're all idiots. You're all becoming idiots.
But it took them a long time to like they had to get to almost the point of playing with their own shit for him to figure that out.
I like when he walks in and they're all just watching the blank TV and just the look of anger on his face. Like the stupidest guy in the room at all times now isn't, and it just like he's angry that everyone else is so stupid. Like after everybody has to put up with him.
It's basically the plot of Idiocracy.
Yeah, where Joe Average was just, or Joe whatever.
This is based off or like similar to a Star Trek episode.
Is it?
Operation Annihilation.
Now, why didn't you come up with that, Horgy?
I don't remember that episode.
What happens in that episode of Star Trek, Tom?
Am I gonna get fired?
Kind of like brain-like creatures invade something and like make people like have like suicidal thought, like commit suicide and stuff like that. So a little bit also like that M. Night Shyamalama Ding Dong movie, The Happening. Also,
Is that an accurate
all the
assessment?
plants.
It also
Lisa?
kind of. Sorry?
Was that an accurate assessment of
Yeah.
the episode? You sure?
Yeah, that's actually kind of perfect. It
Would you
also-
embellish it at all?
No.
Okay.
It also kind of parodies a like 1950s B movie. It was like the brains from Planet Eris or something like that.
that sounds familiar. I
Where
feel
it
like
was-
I've
where
seen
it was
like
giant floating brains.
So
I mean, I haven't seen the movie, but I feel like I've seen like references to that or that pop up on.
The best parallel for this episode is that the brain spawn, like the White House currently, hates consciousness.
Well, is that their official name? I was wondering. The brain spawn.
Thinking hurts them, just like the.
Thinking
Just like
hurts them like the
executive branch.
the screech. The brainwaves screech at them like the forced laughs of a billion art house movie patrons.
I really like that line.
I love that when they go to Planet Eternum, which where Nibbler's from, and they're just laying all this jazz out for Leela. Like,
Dude,
here's
that's
the whole thing.
So, just like without the subtitles and like his, and then so every religion is wrong.
There's
You go on to say.
There was the thing about her prom dress. Like it got all cobbled together from pieces of old carpet. Yes, just like your prom dress. Do they ever
Which is 10 miles west of the exact center of the universe.
have they shown her prom dress before? Was that one of the
There's a
pictures
prom
when they
episode
found
There
her
is a
on
later.
prom
her?
episode later.
Oh,
Do you
is there?
just see the picture, Lisa, or was it? Do they?
I think they actually do like a short flashback.
I feel like, yeah. I mean, there's definitely that thing where the dad's leaving all the stuff or whatever, and there's her.
Like the
yeah, I
scrapbook?
believe they do. Yeah, I believe they do a quick flashback.
You also, at this point, we still don't know that she's a mutant.
Right. We haven't had anything about her parents just yet.
Well, her prom dress wasn't a mutant.
But
No, but
why
it
would
was
an alien go
worn
to
by
a
me.
prom?
Well,
They have Galapagos.
Just have Tom. The same reason anybody goes to prom, just to have a fun time.
I did
And
not go
dance-
to prom.
Food.
And dance to
'Cause
the
you were busy at your
contemporary
Galapagos
musical
orphan.
hits.
And actually, the funny thing, a security question today came up on one of my my accounts. I'm not going to say whatever.
one of your
but
paid for porn accounts.
the security question was, who was your prom date? And I used that, and my answer was no one.
Oh, there's. I mean, I know it's not like anybody.
I had
personally looks
two,
at those, but-
lefty and righty.
I want to see the person that like. Yeah, it does something where they have to audit some of those and check them or whatever, and just gets to that one, and they're just like, oh.
No, you would. That's just if you need to hack into my account.
No, I mean like, if there was
Well, you
for
get
some
the
reason someone had to
hacker
check.
that's, like hacks into your
No,
account.
not
You're
even
like, I'm
that-
not gonna hack this guy. He's sad.
That's even better. Just
Or
like,
I'm going to take
yeah,
advantage of this guy. He's
Like this
clearly-
guy's been hurt enough. Like he's hurting himself.
They record all my keystrokes as just like no one, lonely, unhappy.
I love that Fry becomes the teacher at Fry's dumb school. like that's how low everybody's fallen when he's trying to explain the presidents. But I was wondering, and I couldn't tell if this got demonstrated or not. But did the brainwaves affect the jarred heads too?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because they have the delta brainwave.
So those are still going on.
Every
and
living being, plant,
they're not
and
living. They're dead. Their heads in jars.
Yeah, but their heads.
they have
their
a
heads-
brain.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, even when he
Some
when he's
plants
asking-
even have the delta
yeah.
brainwave.
All right.
But even when he's asking everyone who the first president was, and everyone gives the wrong answers, even
George
Washington gives the
Thomas
wrong
Jefferson?
answer. Yeah, so
We
he's
need to
obviously affected.
we need to find a way to represent an audio sound for the famous Fry squinty-eyed meme, so that every time Pete says something, we could play that. But I don't know how you would turn that into a sound.
Would
So
it be-
from now on,
would it be
everybody
like the-
listening, imagine that image. When Pete says something and you don't hear me say anything, that's
That's
what's happening.
I picture the sheep from this episode after they get hypnotized, and he just asks a question in my eyes.
Could the
And
noise
I close a pen over my face.
could the noise be the grunt Fry makes? There's like I can't even remember what it sounds like, but I have a note, Fry's grunts, where he's just like
I'm just
something.
gonna start making Marge sounds.
that's the
I love
whatever.
when the Niblonians give Leela the note when
and the lunch.
and it's just like the
And-
little kid thing where it's just like we've like prepared a lunch for you
And
mittens.
yes,
That's right over the.
I remember my mom doing that when
Yeah.
I was a kid.
I never had the mittens pinned to me. I remember one time having a note pinned to me to go get cigarettes for my mom when I was like, I don't know, 8 before they were like, oh, yeah, it's fine. You have a note.
That would have been in the 1980s.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. So less than 20 years ago, well, no, maybe 25.
My mom could send me off to the corner store as long as I brought bread or milk. I could also get her a pack of cigarettes if I needed to.
No, I remember when I was a kid, like my mom would, when we'd go to the gas station or whatever, I'd run in and I'd be able to get her smokes or whatever while she was pumping gas.
Can you even fucking imagine that happening now?
Nowadays,
no, I can't.
Like I pull up.
I don't know.
Pull up to the get-go, send BB in and get like a 6-pack of
no, it's so
and a
strict,
bottle of wine.
Yeah,
there was no alcohol. You couldn't do alcohol.
Why not? Why not?
You could do that
Why not?
too. I mean,
I never.
I'm saying it could. Yeah,
I mean, it probably could
I
happen.
remember in the early 90s vividly grabbing a bottle of Hennessy for my mom.
I mean,
I vividly remember that. Note and all, with the mittens hanging from safety pin to my winter coat.
Well, you were just running in to grab something.
You
for
needed
your,
the
for
Hennessy
your
to
mom.
keep
My
warm.
mom, my
And they
mom
knew
was
it.
not with me. She was not in a car. She was up the street in our
Well, either
apartment
way,
building in East Cleveland.
Like they knew.
I
the
was
clerk
like,
knew
I was
that
like
you were there
8.
for that. Yeah.
I was like 8. I should not have, especially in that neighborhood, I should not have been out there.
Jesus Christ, somebody could have knocked you over for the damn bottle of booze.
I'm pretty sure someone would have.
Yeah, and then you walked into the store, and then you just walk in, and they're like,
Can I
you
help
just say, you for this.
Oh, all of Leela's like sounds she makes and her lines. Katie Seagal's like vocal performance in this is amazing.
It's great. I love
when later she's like, duh, when he asks her a question.
I just realized that when you were saying that, but this is like a karmic retribution for Parasites Lost, where Fry becomes super smart and talented because now the shoe is literally on the other foot. Like he hasn't become smarter, but everyone else has become way dumber. And like Leela's pretty vulnerable and idiotic in this, which is such a weird position for her to be in.
Yeah.
No, Pete, brain make people smart.
I have something important. Slow down, you're going a mile a minute.
I love when he goes out on the balcony with the megaphone and he has it turned backwards.
That's one of my favorite.
Of New York. Stop being so stupid.
One of my favorite images of Fry is just before the bird lands on it, just him with the backwards. That to me, that picture, that's him. Like, backwards megaphone. Hey, I know this is going back. Why did I write down power of attorney? Why did Bender have somebody's power of attorney? What was that line?
Oh God.
Where Fry's like, that's how you got my power of attorney, and I can't remember why.
Oh,
I know
it was when he was talking about his heart, like his heart stopping.
When
Bender was like, I can't feel my heart.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
it's just funny that Fry gave Bender power of attorney, but I don't recall the
I don't have any
circumstances.
of that.
damn it.
You should have taken better notes.
I know. I always
We all
don't.
failed. We don't.
How exactly would books on tapeworm work?
Oh, I missed that.
Books on tapeworm?
Oh yeah, because
that was
in
at the library.
rooms there was reference books on tapeworm, and Stephen King A through
I love that,
Aardvark.
yeah.
I wonder if books on
In the past-
tapeworm.
in the
That
past
book with the
17 years-
scary Aardvark.
In the past 17 years, he's getting pretty close to that.
It's
This bottle of water. It's
like
scary.
It's haunted.
if you had a book on tapeworm, would it be that if you swallowed the tapeworm that you would absorb the book?
I think so. It'd probably be just kind of like the Parasite episode almost.
Yeah, I think so.
Sorry.
Like
I like to think that you would, you walk in there and then you would just get a tapeworm and then you whatever book it is
and get skinny at the same time. Brilliant.
God, I love that.
smarter and skinnier.
It's
Sign
like
me up.
getting the worm.
Shut up and take my money.
It's funny that they put the big brain inside the library where the nerds would go.
But I mean, basically, a brain is a giant nerd.
I
Like
mean,
Dan.
Theoretically.
The entire time watching this episode, I thought of Dan.
Former guest Dan Hallahan. Dan and Pete went on about books for like a half an hour, and Tom edited the whole thing out because we fell asleep.
Oh,
We
wow.
were having a really good
They
conversation.
were. I'm sure from what I could gather from how excited they were about it. I'm sure it was a really
Riveting
good conversation.
Yeah, I got him all worked up because I have autographed Douglas Adams stuff and got to meet him, and he got real
Dan also
jealous.
I'm jealous.
named an author wrong or something like that, and I had to cut that out, so made me cut the whole thing out. That's what happened.
Yeah,
Dan
this
was
is-
wrong about something.
Tom's taking a cue from Futurama's writers and just retconning the whole thing. It's unfortunate.
Well, fun fact, Maurice LaMarche, that does the voice of the
Yeah.
Big Brain, also voiced the Brain from Pinky and the Brain.
I didn't even.
Oh,
think of
really?
that.
Yeah.
Well, and along those lines, so Fred Welker has always done the Nibbler noises and everything, but when he starts doing Nibbler's voice, he basically sounds like Freddy from Scooby-Doo, who he's also done.
Oh, he's doing his regular voice.
It's
too, his
very,
talking
very
voice?
close to that. I mean, you can tell that it's Fred Welker because it's one of the characters that he would do. Just there's a timbre to Nibbler's voice that sounds like the Mystery Machine.
We skipped over all the Niblonians cute stuff. All the niggle snush.
Oh, sometimes I fear we are cute.
Do you
Prepare
think
the Cuttlebug for deployment in 40 niblets.
so? They were like
Fearsome though we are.
they were like projecting the language and everything to Leela. Do you think that they were like that kind of stuff was also sort of a psychic projection?
Oh, yeah.
Like, what do they really look and sound like in their own world without the filter of making themselves presentable
Well,
for
what
us?
was it that Nibbler said? He's just like about his name.
Oh yeah,
and she's
just
like
pronouncing one letter of his name would something
Like-
something.
10,000 cosmoses would flare
Yeah.
into existence and die out.
It's just because it's long. Their whole time perception is crazy. Like,
Yep.
if you were around from 17 years before the beginning of time.
Can I tell you my favorite quote in this entire episode?
Yes.
Is
Wait.
No,
Yeah, Pete's right.
I'm just kidding. Go ahead, Tom.
Is it a past one that we missed, or is,
Is
it
it,
something coming
No.
up?
the fry in the brain?
No,
Okay.
honestly, it's is there a Mrs. Queequeg?
I just love the way she delivers that line, and then just the twisting
Yeah.
and the twirling of the hair afterwards.
That whole thing, like, the brain inserts them into great works of literature, but it's like I didn't understand how that was all working. It was an interesting device, from like it just zaps them and then they become characters in the stories.
I have a little bit trouble understanding how that worked too, because Fry lacks the delta brainwave, so he can't be controlled by them, but somehow he can be transported his
Like
or
his physical.
his thoughts. But in actuality, we don't know if that actually happened because of what happens at the end of this episode, how it plays out, how he defeats the brain. That could have been all something he was doing right at the start.
That's true. But then we'd miss the scene where he goes, Hardy Boys, too easy. Nancy Drew, too hard.
Do you fool?
That's a really good brainly.
I like when they do the thing you guys were just talking about with the books and the brainwave and stuff. And Leela's reaction is it like involves her, or what's the word I'm looking for?
I don't
know. You gotta say
Whatever.
what you're
It covers
talking
her,
about.
and she's like, "Icky." Just do you
What?
remember that? She says "icky" when
When what happens?
when the brain waves go on her.
Oh.
eye.
And to shove them into the book.
You
Yeah.
mean the stupefaction field?
Field, yeah.
Thank you. Whatever.
The stupefaction or stupefaction?
Stupefaction field.
Stupefaction field. Yeah, that's
Okay.
probably what it is.
But so they go into
Brain wave thingy.
Moby Dick, or as my autocorrect puts it, Mob's Dick.
Mom's dick?
Mobs, like
Oh.
That was
like
the
the
alternate
mob.
title for Mobb Deep's first solo album,
Just Mob's Dick.
Mob's Dick. I'm an adult.
They get into Tom Sawyer. It's like, Tom Sawyer, you tricked me.
How did Tom Sawyer trick the brain?
Brain, exactly. Well, it's actually kind of funny.
Do you think he didn't read
Is
that
that
book
much
yet?
of a rascal?
Maybe. But I find it kind of funny that scene. This episode parodies and spoofs so many different movies and
Oh, yeah.
shows then this actual episode was then parodied by the cartoon The Fairly Odd Parents. And they use several scenes from that Tom Sawyer interaction, and that's actually how that episode plays out, with Tom Sawyer kind of taking over as like the big brain. And
really,
yeah, it's actually.
I don't remember that. I've seen a lot of Fairly Odd Parents.
It's the episode The Shelf Life.
Okay,
that's you might have to go research that, Horchie.
By research, you mean watch the episode?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you have that's your homework assignment? You can come back and tell us about it next week.
Homework is punishment.
It is. But your punishment is cartoons, so it all works out, right?
The whole joke where Fry's like saying, "Oh, Hardy Boys too easy, Nancy Drew too hard," or whatever, and then Bonfire of the Vanities, is that, I don't get that joke because I've never read that book, but I've heard of it, and I'm pretty sure Dan would know about it.
Damn it, Dan,
who wrote
where
that?
are
I
you
think
when
it
we
was
need
Tom
you?
Wolfe, maybe a late 80s. It's like it was like a big
late 80s
big
guy.
bestseller in the late 80s. I think it's sort of a I mean they made a movie out of it, I think starring Tom Hanks. But it's
You're talking about Castaway?
that one too. It's a crossover. I think it's about like kind of greed and losing or maintaining your soul while working in Wall Street or something, like some kind of
And
thing
then you
like
meet a
that.
mermaid.
And John
there's this-
Candy's in it, which
and then
is
there's
wonderful.
This giant keyboard.
Yes, and an old guy, and then what boils down
And then,
to
Horchie, what happens?
a
You
molestation.
get attacked by a
They-
gray thinky whale.
They make it back to Earth by using duct tape.
Oh yeah,
That's what happens.
and an inanimate carbon rod.
Why, just because the brain got white paint splashed on him, then immediately Captain Ahab and Queequeg think it's the white whale?
Pete, that was an amazing Tom impression. For those of you at home, I did not know Pete could do that and throw his voice. Like,
Because it's big
And
and,
it's
white.
Why wouldn't you think that?
2 words that Pete has never heard.
Yeah, Bonfire of the Vanities was about a
Bonfire in the Vanities.
well, no, the first Wikipedia entry goes to some painting or some shit in Italy, and then it's this Tom Wolfe novel, and then there's Bonfire of the Vanities film, which had Tom Hanks, Bruce Willis, and Melanie Griffith, and
Ooh, that actually sounds really
directed by Brian De Palma. Morgan Freeman is also in it, so I'm sure he's got some. Look at Bruce Willis in this poster. This is like, I still have hair, and I'm like 3 years from what was his musical character, Bruno?
Oh,
The Return
God,
of
I
Bruno.
forgot about that.
When he was doing the wine cooler commercials and singing and playing
I
harmonica.
just remember seeing that
Yep.
video way too many times when I was a kid.
Yeah, put on an entire record.
Yeah. There was like,
I distinctly
You don't
remember
know that,
him
Archie?
dancing and sliding up
No.
against the pool table.
is that when he started doing like the House of Blues stuff or whatever, or Hard Rock
no,
Cafe or
it's
something? Or-
have
Hollywood,
we talked about this
No,
before?
it's the Hollywood. What was
Oh
it?
yeah, Hollywood,
Planet Hollywood?
Planet Hollywood.
That's it.
no. When Bruce Willis came on the scene, it was like
Honeymooners. I'm not honeymooners.
no. It was like a full media press. Like
No,
it
the
was
other
this
show that sounds like
this
that.
guy came out of
Moonlighting.
nowhere and was
Moonlighting.
in wine cooler commercials, and he had a bad album of like White Guy Blues,
Really?
and he was on Moonlighting, and then he was in movies and like
I
a
feel
bunch of
like
movies that weren't good before Die
All
Hard.
of the stars of like the early 1980s had that same trajectory of like a ton of throwaway movies and then like a bad album here and there. Because like Eddie Murphy did the same thing.
You're saying Eddie Murphy's albums are bad?
You mean his musical
I'm
albums, not his comedy
No,
albums,
I
right?
mean his
Uh,
musical albums. I distinctly
I want to party all the time.
That was, I mean, the
I
music was all by
distinctly
Rick James.
remember a music video, a terrible green screen music video of him and Michael Jackson called "What's Up."
Yes. I think that was on the second record. That
That-
was the sophomore slump.
My mom loved that song and that album and would play it constantly.
Really?
By the way, the outro music of this episode is going to be party all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I think there was some of that, but it's not like Tom Cruise did it. Now, you had like your Patrick Swayze's and your She's Like the Winds and whatnot, but Don Johnson got into it.
Yeah.
He had his Heartbeat song. Don Johnson was another one who seemingly out of nowhere was like everywhere.
They were all Shatnering. They were all doing that
Yeah.
thing where they started to get some fame. Like when we were talking about the one episode where Zapp sings his Leela song or
Yeah.
whatever, and we were talking about William Shatner's
Rocket
shitty, and that was a thing where and that's been a thing for decades where somebody starts to make it, and it's like, all right, even though I'm not built for this,
We're going to
I'll
squeeze
try
as
it
much
out.
blood out
Maybe
of
I'll
this
put it in
rock as we
music.
can.
Make a couple
still
bucks.
do that. And
Oh, they're
it's
still
like
doing it,
back
yeah.
and forth. Like singers,
You gotta be a triple threat, or,
instantly-
or try to be.
Instantly want to be actors.
Yep.
Actors want to be singers.
Yep.
I think
Models want to be
Sometimes
actors.
it works, and it's great.
Yeah,
but,
every
like,
once
it's,
in a while
And
you get
sometimes
like
you get Suicide Squad.
yeah.
you get like a
But you also
Oh.
get Jared Leto, who is both very talented at both things he
No,
does.
no, he's not.
By one, being a complete weirdo, and two, being a guy with nice looking eyes.
That's
You're
an
right. He is
accurate
very good at
assessment.
both of those. Yeah.
It's just thinking about Bruce Willis back then. Like, I don't know. I just remember there's specific people that all of a sudden they were everywhere, and like I distinctly remember that about
What
some
was that
people when I
movie where
growing
he
up.
sang?
Goldie Hawn.
Hudson Hawk?
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that's
love
the
that
whole
movie.
thing.
That's a good
Hudson
movie.
Hawk was like a tie-in to his album, The Return of Bruno.
Nuh-uh.
It all
Shut up.
Shit.
That's a good movie, though. I mean, it's a
No,
dumb movie.
no.
but it's
Remember
fun.
he had-
Hudson Hawk is remembered as being one of the worst movies ever.
Yeah.
Remember
but-
the cartoon Bruno that he voiced the
Oh,
kid
God,
on?
Shut up.
Yeah.
What?
Oh my god, I'm getting like a little flash of that. Like I kind of remember
Yeah.
that.
Is
It's
I just
clashing with,
remembered it
like,
right
my
now.
memories of Life with Louie for some
are
reason.
wait?
It was
are-
almost on the vein of like Bobby's World,
Bobby's
where it was
World,
like,
Life with
but it
Louie.
was brutal.
The
Like,
Louis one, I forgot about that until he started. I started watching Baskets, and I'm like, that's right. He had a cartoon when I was
Yeah,
a kid.
oh,
love
I
that
love
cartoon.
It was
Louis
good.
Anderson.
Return of
John
Bruno
Candy
was
had
on
a cartoon.
Motown,
Camp Candy.
Was it?
and then he had another one. He actually put out a second record called "If It Don't Kill You,
Oh,
It Just
God,
Makes
I
You Stronger."
Remember that one? I actually remember that one.
Reception and legacy. Reviews of the album were mixed. People magazine gave the album a B+, while Willis's cover of Under the Boardwalk surprisingly okay.
Oh
Just
yeah,
imagine if he released that nowadays. Those reviews would be scathingly different.
it was
Oh my
called.
God.
The cartoon was called Bruno the Kid, and it was produced in 1996. The cartoon stars
That
Bruce
late?
Willis as the voice of an 11-year-old boy who becomes a top spy for a secret espionage organization.
What the fuck?
I thought that was like 1992 or something. That was that late into the 90s.
I had no
96.
idea that existed.
Yeah,
Maybe that's why.
That's the,
I don't remember it.
cover right there. Like
Oh my, that's
yeah, it was
disturbing.
too late for me.
I just
Oh wow.
I
we were
remember
talking
that.
about Bruce Willis and Bruno, and I was like, Bruno, cartoon, and then yeah,
I like the
remember
Sacha
he
Baron
was-
Cohen Bruno much better.
He was.
God.
Guys, it lasted September 23rd, 1996 to September 1st, 1997. One season, 36 episodes.
That's better than
Bruce
some
Willis.
cartoons that came out around some of the Cowboys and
Well,
Blue
that's-
Mesa.
That's just because they'll feed bullshit to
Yeah.
kids and they'll eat it.
Oh,
up.
Biker-
Mark Hamill was a
Biker
voice
Mice
in
Well,
it?
he's a
from
big
outer
cartoon voice
space.
actor. What was? Which one?
Kathy Sushi?
Biker Mice from Outer Space.
Yeah, I never watched
When
that,
they were
but I
trying, it was
remember
like
it
when they
being
were
on.
trying to do all the like
Ninja Turtle.
ripoffs
Oh,
because
yep,
there was
yep.
like Street Sharks
Yep.
and then the Mighty
Street Sharks,
Ducks.
I remember that. Mighty
Oh.
Ducks.
Looney Tunes back in action
Tim Curry?
when
Yeah.
they made them superheroes.
Bronson
Yeah,
Pinchot?
Sure.
I was turned off by that. I didn't watch it.
I didn't
Ed
mean to.
McMahon?
I didn't mean to drag us off
Speaking
into
of
a whole.
Bruce Willis and
Oh,
cartoons.
and bringing it back around, additional voices provided by Frank Welker.
Oh.
Yep.
There you
Uh,
go.
There you
Bruce
go.
Willis was the dog, and all dogs go to heaven.
He was also the baby in Look Who's Talking.
And he was the only dog that didn't go to heaven.
He went to hell where he belongs.
Well, bringing it back to like towards the beginning of Fry's interaction with the brain, I love the line where he goes, "Who are you and what are you doing here?" And he's like, "I'm here to kick your ass." And the brain goes, "We've evolved beyond asses."
I hope
I-
that never happens to us.
I don't know.
Why? What if you absorb
That's why I
enough
wake up in the morning,
information
asses.
and nutrients that is just perfect, and you never have to
You wouldn't have to
admit
plan
any
it on
waste.
these uncomfortable chairs.
I
have in my
actually-
house.
working
know what?
at perfect efficiency.
If there was some way where the universe didn't exist by that constant
you know how much
trade-off,
time you could save?
I would love to not have to eat or go to the bathroom. If I could do that,
Yeah. If you
What if
got
you
rid of
just-
your
then
whole
where would you stop?
elementary
Then I'd say
canal.
sleep and then everything else. But
I'd
that'd
be
be
fine
great.
with the not bathroom thing, but I love food.
But where's
Oh, okay.
it, where's it gonna go, Lisa?
No,
where's
not,
it gonna
not,
go?
No, not
That's the
not have to
universe's
eat.
problem.
Lisa, I just mean not have to eat.
Oh,
I would
okay.
still do it, like watching TV or whatever. Be like, oh, I'm gonna eat something because I like it. But that's the only reason I want. I don't want to be like busy doing something and get tired and like dizzy and go, I gotta eat something, and then I eat and then I just lay there because I
the
just ate
giant
something.
brains are a lot like television.
Yeah, like floating televisions.
Televisions.
You think?
They're like
yeah,
a lot
they-
like flying televisions because they hate consciousness and they want
Oh,
to.
they just make you dumber.
Right.
I
Hey.
was really happy to learn where the name of
Oh,
our
I was
podcast
I was
from.
about to say that. This is the titular episode.
Yeah, I had no
I was
idea.
waiting for
The
somebody.
titular
I didn't want to
episode.
bring it up because I figured it was more appropriate for one of you to bring it up.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. I was so confident about that. I didn't even put in my notes, and then I forgot that we were even at that
Your
point.
reaction was like, you know that YouTube video where they give the dog the cupcake?
It's a double rainbow all over again, Tom. That was so
Or
good.
that.
Like I mean, I knew it had something to
and
do.
now I'm leaving for no reason.
I am the greatest.
It's like riddled with spelling errors.
The big
And
brain
plot
am
holes.
winning again.
That actually reminded me of currently at Fears we have a book club going.
That's
Oh,
Fear's
dear.
Confection,
And
yes?
this was actually my fault. I bought for all of my friends for Christmas. I bought everybody erotic dinosaur fiction.
So you went on a Chuck Tingle bender.
Wait, is this
Somebody
like
told me about that.
It wasn't all Chuck Tingle. Some of it. There's other
That's what
art.
I'm-
There's
okay.
other writers.
Is
that
he
make-
is he the best or is he just one of?
He's just one of. But I bought everybody different authors. But I did buy my friend Roger a Chuck Tingle novel titled "Helicopter Man Pounds Billionaire Dinosaur Ass," and it is about a man who actually can, through nanobot technology, transform himself into a helicopter, and then has sex with a dinosaur.
I've heard of that.
While
Somebody was talking about that on
while
something.
in helicopter form.
Yes.
Why does a dinosaur have $1 billion?
He's a doctor.
So he's a sentient dinosaur.
yes.
Does he work on people or dinosaurs?
Both.
How does that work?
I'm still not quite sure. That was the thing I was getting to is I have only made it through half of this book because there are so many spelling and like grammar errors that I've just taken to.
Wait, are they all bad like that? I mean, as far as the grammar and the spelling errors and stuff?
Yeah,
go?
the
amount of times it
Chuck
says-
Tingle's novels, yes.
It says-
That's like part of his
Because
thing.
when I gave it to my friend, he was very familiar with Chuck Tingle's work already. But what happened was I showed it to Cassandra up at Fear's Confections, as well as one of her other friends, and her friend sat there and read the first 3 chapters while she was standing there. And then I see her on her phone. I'm like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "I'm ordering myself a copy." And then Cassandra goes, "Can you order me one too?" So then it turned into now 11 different people have ordered this book.
And it's like a proofreading book club.
And yeah, and now we're having a book club about Helicopter Man Pounds Billionaire Dinosaur Ass.
It's all about the dinosaur penis.
Well, it's like, but the way it starts out, it's actually
Dinosaur tweenus?
No, dinosaur penis. Because of the spelling errors, Horgy.
So, I mean, I would have to imagine when you're writing any kind of erotic fiction, not any kind, there's always going to be like the classy stuff. Like the Alan Moore comic
the
books.
classy stuff.
But
with the ones with Fabio on the cover.
no, but there's not a lot of proofreading going on because people aren't reading it for the language necessarily. They just
Exactly.
want to see the dirty words in the right
Yeah.
sequence. But there's like a I've had a lot of conversations recently, like one as recent as this weekend about woods porn and the phenomenon of woods porn, which everybody seems to know about. Like it has Wikipedia entries and stuff on it. So there's a David Sedaris story about when he was a kid, they found a box full of like dirty books in the woods. And he reads or like recreates some of the language from it, and those are all like full of bad spelling and stuff too. It's like, why don't put your kick in my pessy? Just like the whole thing is just like riddled with terrible spelling.
Well,
You've never had your cack put in your pussy, right? Hap?
Never.
So you don't know.
I don't even know what those are.
Well, this kind of brings me back to my YouTube channel. I run a YouTube channel where myself as well as friends occasionally get drunk and we watch
Talk about dinosaur penises.
Well, no, we get drunk and we watch Korean pop music videos.
Oh, God.
Oh yeah.
And there is a whole built-in fan base for that. It's like, and it's kind of, as I've gotten more and more into it, it's like the fan base is just weird. It spans from like 12-year-olds all the way up to like 56-year-olds.
And there's like at least 4 Korean people that like it
Yeah,
too,
at
right?
least 4. And we did a challenge video not too long ago where my subscribers had sent me just excerpts, like a few paragraphs of the best and worst K-pop fan fiction that they had found. And it was just riddled with like spelling errors. And it's like, you can tell how...
Are you sure it just wasn't in Korean?
it could have been poorly translated.
If it was in Korean, I'm pretty sure it would have actually made more sense. But my favorite thing is like just the words that people use. You can tell how old the person is that wrote a specific fic
by when
the
they
words
say when
that-
they put them down on the Davenport.
And it's like, or there's like the ones where you can clearly tell that it's like a 14-year-old that has a thesaurus out, like as he or she is writing.
Oh, dear.
And it's just like where it gets to where they've got their thesaurus out, then they put it away. And I'm like, you were using fucking SAT words here, and then you just went for butthole here because you couldn't think of anything else.
I mean, sometimes there is no synonym to butthole
Also,
in certain
I feel like
instances.
honestly, that's how Pete talks. Just in general, like
Well,
he sounds like
yeah.
a thesaurus.
I lay you
and then
down on the
next word
Davenport.
is butthole.
And then I slowly caress your butthole.
You can't,
It's
you
like
can't
he
just
ran-
jab
he
at a
ran-
butthole. You have
he ran
to
a
gently
light
caress it.
dry finger across his butthole.
I made a really weird
That's
eye
an
contact with Tom
actual
when he said
quote.
butthole, and I got scared.
How does that fall into the realm of K-pop videos? Is this like meeting somebody backstage or
Have
something?
you watched a K-pop video?
Just the ones with that guy who does the thing?
Psy. That's generally Gangnam Style is generally how
That
most
one.
people know of K-pop.
I-
But there's
like-
a whole nother world beyond that.
I'm sure it's a whole country and then a whole genre. Like, I mean, I just don't have time to watch the shit that I actually want to watch. That for me to go down rabbit holes of stuff that I would be mildly amused or perplexed by. Like, nobody got time for that.
I was looking up toys when I came across my first K-pop video back in like 2012, and it just spiraled from there.
Sounds like it. Have you seen anybody for this? It sounds like you might need some therapy or something.
I probably do.
I know it's brightly colored and prone to inducing seizures.
Some of it's actually pretty good, but it's like not all of it is brightly colored. It's actually a lot of it is really dark, and a lot of the videos are super violent.
Like vampire-y dark?
There's some like that, but there's a lot of guns.
Really?
Yeah, one of my friends just moved up here recently from Jersey, and he is a hardcore metalhead. He's the guitarist of a metal band, and he sat down and watched a couple videos with me, and even he was like, "This is super fucking violent." I had a friend that came over and filmed with me recently, and he's like, our boy bands back in the 90s weren't this hardcore. He's like, I think the most hardcore thing one of our boy bands did was like talked about having a wet dream.
Well,
like,
I
in one
mean,
of their songs.
Marky Mark beat up a Vietnamese guy and left him half blind. That was
He
pretty
apologized.
tough. 25 years later, he did.
It's important he apologized.
Is it? Was he just apologizing to sell more hamburgers?
And he starred in The Happening. So
he needs to apologize for that, too.
There was nothing in between. Sorry about that, Archie. There was nothing in between any of that.
you know where you can learn more about Mark Wahlberg? At your local library.
Yes, I was just about to
Do you
bring
guys
that
remember
line
those
up.
commercials?
I
Yes.
did.
And do you remember the commercials of people, like celebrities in the library that just said read, and
Yep.
it'd be like Matthew McConaughey with a soccer ball and a book?
I was
Remember how?
Not one bong on his person for some reason.
What, Orgy?
I was gonna say when I first moved to Athens, Georgia, and went to the coffee shop, they had the REM one, and it's REM like out of time document,
Like Amish looking REM?
like 1989 REM or whatever, 88, 87. And I was so excited, and I wanted to steal that poster so bad. Like,
I just remember when Pizza Hut used to reward you with
Personal
cheese
pan
and
pizzas?
Yes.
bread for reading books.
I remember when they'd give you that was the library. The library used to give you Indians tickets, shitty bleacher seats at the end of the.
Facing the opposite
All you
way
had to
of the
do
field.
was
you weren't
read-
allowed to look at any
Was
of the
read
players.
10 books, and I remember I started doing
Read
it.
10 books, quotation.
No, but that was the thing but you had to do a report to like the librarian or whatever. So it would be there was the age where you could read like the children's level books, and I remember the first year that I came up and I'm like, all right, I did 2 this week, and it was like, and I was like way too old. It was like some kids' books, and they're like, no, you have to read these level books, and I'm like, that's gonna take forever.
Bullshit.
I need these tickets. My dad's counting on me. This is
I read
My
Hop
dad's
on
going to
Pop
die in 27 years.
and
Come on.
green eggs and ham. And then Spot goes to the zoo.
And if you didn't read the books, they'd make you listen to The Return of Bruno. It'd sit you down in the audiovisual room with those old headphones.
Years ago, when I was at helping out doing a show on that local college radio station for Cleveland State, I found that Bruno record
Oh, God.
in their
Really?
archives. Yes, and I just had to play a song.
Was that on WCSB? Is that the CSU
That's,
station?
that's the right
Okay.
one.
Hey,
Good.
yes, it is.
Now we have to pay the FCC. Good job. We can't save other people's call letters.
We can't?
No.
Oh, why
It's-
not?
It's against the law.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, we're not on the radio, so who cares?
All right.
We're on the-
We'll send the
Tom
subpoena to
knows
you,
what he
buddy.
has to edit out now.
Or WSLRM.
That's okay. I'm not afraid of them. My name's Lisa.
And on that note, thank you so much for coming on to the show. That was a lot of fun, Lisa.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
We're,
I enjoyed this.
Well,
are we going to do the plugs? Hold on a second.
yeah.
Let what must be done be done. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you for that.
So, I mean, we know you from a variety of places. I think I met you at the formerly wonderful and now non-existent Breakneck Art Gallery, but you're really kind of in a whole. You have your fingers in a whole bunch of different areas.
We have to
right?
call it. It's
I-
Carl Jr. prevents or Carl Jr. presents Breakneck Gallery now.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay. If Carl's Jr. was presenting it, they might still be open.
BuzzFeed
That's
presents
very
some
true.
shit posting.
So, your various pursuits and where can people find you on the internet or in real life?
In real life, please don't find me.
Do you usually ask that in real life?
Well, I don't know what your like brick and mortar situation is, or if your goods are available at local
Here's her school
galleries and
picture
things.
with her schedule on the other side. We will post it.
We're gonna
And a
put
list
a
of her
picture of
beers.
you with your mittens and your Hennessy.
Well, I am the creator of Sleepy Robot 13, which is a line of handmade robot-themed figurines.
And is it
Eventually, they'll be sentient.
and is
Eventually, they will be sentient.
favorite
and I will
go-to
be-
gift of mine to give to
and
people.
I will be their queen, basically, because I've been making idols and shrines.
You'll be
like
mom.
You're the mom. Of
I'm the
the
mother.
Sleepy
I'm the mother
Robots.
of robots.
Yeah.
So those are available online. You can find me at www.sleepyrobot13.com. Currently brick and mortar merchants market out at Legacy Village, and then also up at Fierce Confections.
Awesome.
And outside of the Sleepy Robot stuff, as I mentioned before, I do the K-pop, drunk K-pop reactions. So it's Dick, drunk, ignorant K-pop comments.
That sounds like a show we're cut out for, I think.
I think you guys, I should have you guys on. You guys would be perfect for that.
That could get really weird.
It usually does. It already always does.
I mean, as opposed to this classy podcast.
Oh, it's not classy at all. It is not.
It's a video situation, though.
It is a video situation. I have had people on that have worn masks because they didn't want to.
Really?
And I'm completely okay with that.
What kind of mask? Did the mask make it weirder than them not wearing masks?
Are they like eyes wide shut orgy masks with the bird nose and stuff?
I had someone wear a no face from Spirited Away mask before. I've also had someone just wear like a gimp mask from Pulp Fiction
to make it less weird.
Yeah,
it's gonna be weird. It's K-pop. It's gonna be weird
Can we
regardless.
Make masks of each other and then each wear opposite faces
I already know
of ourselves.
I can go to Kristen's house and get the giant Horchie head that she has that scares the shit out of me every time I enter her house.
That's what happens every time I look in the mirror. My giant Horchie head scares the shit out of me.
Luckily, it's circumcised, so it's okay.
so that's on YouTube.
Yeah, if you just spell dick incorrectly, you'll come across my videos.
DIKC. Because I could go like KDIC.
Almost like how we spell raisin.
No raisin. Yeah.
Reason.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. We can be found at slurmcast.com. You can contact us at slurmcastpod@gmail.com. We are on Twitter and Instagram at slurmcastpod.
Mm-hmm. Call us. Leave a text message.
Yeah.
Leave voicemail. We enjoy listening to it, and we laugh so much.
Well, you might
talking
get,
to me?
Yes. Horchie, call us.
You might get a celebrity response like Tom Waits or somebody. You never know.
Yeah, it's 216-438-1077.
What's the significance of that number, Tom?
It's my PIN code plus the price of a pizza and a large soda.
Fantastic. We are on Facebook. You can leave us a review on iTunes. Did I cover everything?
Twitter.
What?
Twitter.
I said Twitter and Instagram when you weren't paying attention.
I don't know.
I used to date a guy that his dad was obsessed with key lime pie, and I just can't do key lime pie.
My least
'cause
favorite.
It's way too sweet. And I love sugar.
I don't like the taste. I don't like
I'm the
lime.
kid that I used to literally like put a spoon in a bag of sugar and eat sugar
Oh, yeah, me too.
when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And key lime pie is too sweet
Not
for
to
me,
mention
but he would like finish.
The keys really hurt your teeth when you're biting down in the pie.
Oh,
Sing.
wow. That's a joke I would make, Tom. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Congratulations, you've made a dad joke.